You ready?
Welcome back to another episode of the Brutally Honest Loan Officers podcast. I'm Derek Brown here with my co-host Steven.
It's me.
What's up, buddy?
How was your
Spring
birthday
break.
weekend? Yeah, birthday. So
Well, spring break ended with my birthday. Yeah. I spent my birthday on a boat in Isla Morada, so
that was pretty good.
didn't
That's always.
suck. No, it's good, man. I'm 39 now. I got one more year in the 30s.
Oh, you are old.
Yeah. But I don't feel like I'm almost 40. So maybe that's
I'm gonna live my 37 this all for the
you're
6 months
almost
I
40.
got.
You're almost 40. I mean, I've been almost 40 for like 10 years, according to my wife. So,
My body feels it.
no, I feel great. But trip was awesome. Island Rada, we went there last spring break, did it again. Love it.
You have your
Probably going to do it
birthday
again.
dinner at the same restaurant?
We
Is it Captain
did.
Captain Jack's or Captain, is it something like
Papa
that?
Joe's.
Papa Joe's, that's what it is.
Papa
Yeah.
Joe's. We had a little date night at Lazy Days. We went to Square Grouper one day. No, no, there's a couple places down there.
Yeah.
We had breakfast at Robbie's. Have to go to Robbie's, feed the tarpon.
Mhm.
Um, This shirt. This is a lazy day shirt. Yeah, I got my lazy day stuff on. Lazy
Look
days.
at you. Look at you.
But I don't know, man. It was awesome. Like we had pretty decent weather. A couple days, it was a little rainy, got a little chilly. But other than that, I mean, it's awesome. The kids had a blast. So it's just, I don't know, being in paradise made me think that like I think I do pretty well for myself. Like my wife and I, like we do well. Like we pay our
Yeah.
bills, we have money for savings, invest, kids are taken care of. But going down there, you just feel broke,
Oh
dude.
yeah.
Like the house we stayed in, and like just some of the surrounding houses, like $10 million. And you look it up on Zillow, it says $10 million. And then they've got like a $750,000 boat, on the canal right in front of the house. It's wild, man. Like, and then the people aren't even there. Like, that's their second home.
Yeah.
Like, bro, what?
It sits empty for 7 6 7 months every month.
Yeah. And like they don't even try to rent those houses out sometimes. Like, I don't know. And then the
No.
house we stayed in,
I
we
think if I
were
had
like,
multiple houses, I wouldn't like locations. If I had a house in the mountains, I would have rented out. Like that's no, I don't want nobody. I just this mine.
yeah. I don't know. The only reason I would is because I would need to supplement the payment. Like I don't have $10 million cash sitting somewhere where I can go and spend two and not feel anything. You know
And
what I
not
mean?
feel it. Yeah. Oh yeah.
So yeah, I don't know. But we looked up the house that we were staying in, and it's like 1.6 million, but the owners bought it over 10 years ago, 2015, for 500, which 10 years ago, 500,000 is still a lot of money, but it just shows if you can get in early somewhere,
Yeah.
it can really pay off.
You said
Because
you
I
were looking
bet their
on.
mortgage payment is minimal. Um, and then, if you're renting it out, and they rent it out consistently too. So
Yeah. So you said you were looking on Zestimates for it,
that's what we're
Zillow.
going to talk about.
Oh, the Zestimates. Is it
Zillow,
really?
the Zillow estimate, aka
Oh,
Zestimate. And we get the question all the time, is this accurate? Or not necessarily a question. Sometimes like, we'll have a client that owns a house, wants to sell and buy, or, we're looking at different numbers and they're like, well, Zillow says my home is worth this. Like, okay, well, buckle up because not always the case.
and you gotta take it with a grain of salt. With it, it doesn't know. It only knows what was put in to the system when the house was listed. So if the house was you bought it 10 years ago, and you made upgrades, or you added a pool, or you added whatever, it has no clue. So it
Well,
only
okay.
goes,
So Zillow
yeah.
and the Zestimate, the
Mhm.
Zillow estimate at its core is an algorithm.
Yep.
It is not an appraisal.
No.
So Zillow pulls data from public records, recent sales, market trends for certain areas, and gives an estimate towards a home's value.
Yeah. It's never been
So
inside. It has
perfect
no
way to
clue.
see this is look at somebody who bought vacant land and put a house on it. Look at that value 1 year later. It probably is so off
Oh yeah.
because it doesn't realize that a home was put on it.
No, it doesn't know.
And then it's just really important to understand that Zillow has never been inside your house, too. It knows what you purchased the home for, but doesn't
Knows
know if
what
you.
it knows what the market is currently doing from all the data of all the other homes that are sold. But again, that's every home is sold.
Yeah,
So
doesn't know
kind
you
of it
renovated your
just
kitchen, doesn't know
it,
that your roof is falling apart. Like, I mean,
yeah,
it could be off, because your home is worth so much more, or it could be off because your home is worth so much less.
yeah.
If you have the ugliest house in the neighborhood that is falling apart and you have not maintained it, it's going to look at your neighborhood and think that your home is probably worth more. So I mean, and don't get me wrong, like, it is the first place we typically go to as loan officers if we're just roughly estimating the value of the house. As
I
long
like
as
to
that
look
value
between.
isn't important to what we're doing, I'll throw a Zillow in there.
I look at Zillow. I kind of look at Redfin and Realtor.com because they're all within a range of each other that you can kind of see where they're at. I'm like, all right, this one says it's 500. This one says it's 525. This one says it's 510. I'm like, all
Do
right,
you
we can
use
go
the
up like
MB
510.
estimate at all?
I have used that one too.
I
But I'm just
usually
talking
use
about
that and Zillow. I'll compare
talking about
the
like
two.
the public record one that or public one that people can go and look at.
Right.
The one that Derek's talking about, the MBS, is the one that we have access to that we go in there and put, okay, what do we, it's pulling from basically the same information.
Right.
But I mean, like you said, it is one. You go on there, you type in your address, and boom, that's what I think it's
Yeah,
for.
but here's the issue. People typically anchor to that number,
Yeah.
especially if it's higher than what they expected.
Oh yeah. We hear it
So
all the time when listing agents go list a house and they're like, oh, seller says their house is worth this because Zillow says this, and it's 50 grand less or whatever it is. Like that's what you really go off of is what the realtor is telling you. Like, here's the actual numbers and plug it in. So to be fair, Zillow can be right sometimes, but it says it right there. It's a zestimate. It's an estimate of what it could be.
right. Well, and to be fair, like, it can be pretty accurate in certain situations. Like, we can
Yeah.
narrow down those certain situations where it's a cookie cutter neighborhood. A neighborhood that's got 200 homes in it. They're all built by the same builder. You have only four different like floor plans, where
Yeah.
like it's, smaller house, bigger house, medium house, smaller house, bigger house, medium house, like, and it just goes, around the corner. When you have a bunch of that where they all look very similar, aside from paint color, maybe roof color, um, and they're not that old that they haven't been like renovated and stuff like that. When those homes are similar to each other and the pricing trends are similar, then Zillow is probably going to be pretty accurate to what your home is worth.
I'm gonna look up mine right now.
So in it, like, especially if your neighborhood has recent comps. So my old neighborhood was a cookie cutter neighborhood. And when a couple homes had sold and we could look at that and it was right around the 500,000 range, but then we could look at the pictures like, okay, ours, we had done a little because the house was built in 2005. And so we had done a kitchen remodel. We had expanded the back patio. We had a pool. Another house didn't. So we could really judge where our house was, what it was worth based on that. And Zillow was pretty close, but we ended up getting more.
So I'm looking at mine. One, it has the right model house out front, but that is definitely not my house.
Oh, because you bought new
So
construction.
it no, I bought it. It wasn't a new construction at the time. So it said so like okay, it says 893. If I was gonna put it on the market for that, it would be gone. I mean, it could probably go a little higher, so it's not bad. But if you what you do is you scroll down, and it says estimated sales range. 848 to 938. There's even telling you. So just picking the middle one when it does it, like there's the actual range of it. So yeah, I mean it's not terribly off, but it could really only go for like 850 right now or 865 depending.
No,
Hmm.
I don't know what my house could go for, but I'm not going to pay attention to Zillow.
I just wanted to see what, but then it has one, the same model right down the street, sold for 925,
Right.
but it's telling me mine is now. When did that sell? And it's just, it's kind of good to look at it, but yeah, like you said, where it really struggles. So I wanted to see if it was going to struggle because we still have the builder in the neighborhood. So they're offering all these incentives and doing all this other stuff. Is something else happening there that's going to, stop it? Give it a different price on there.
Right.
So it's not terrible, but where it struggles is unique home. Like probably yours is not a cookie cutter neighborhood. Your
No,
current
ours
one.
isn't really a neighborhood. There's
Yeah.
5 vacant lots. And then we
So
bought we bought almost 2 acres and built on that. So like
does Zillow
where
know that
we're
you have a
at
house
though,
there?
there are other like if you go down the street, basically like my backyard and go over, but it's not like you'd have to go like a mile and a half around to a different road. And then you get back there where there are other unique properties that have like custom built homes, all by different builders.
So what does yours
Um,
say? What does yours say that yours is, since yours is a custom? Is it going off the, I mean, you've been there for a while now. Does it know there's a house there?
um, I mean, it does now. It says 1.1, which is, I think, I think that's high,
Yeah.
but I don't know. It also says the rent estimate is $6,300, which if that's the case, I'm gonna start renting out my house. Um,
Well, mine was like 6,000. And I was
I
like,
don't know.
you told me my house is worth 850, but then you're gonna say you get 6,000 in
But like
rent.
I updated it just because I was curious. Like I was playing with Zillow like a year ago, and it had our square footage wrong, it had our room number wrong, it didn't know we
Yeah.
built a pool. So like I included all that, and then it like jumped up by like $400,000 in a couple days once that was updated.
Let me see if I
So I don't know, but no, you're right. Like Zillow struggles with unique homes, custom properties, homes with upgrades or renovations, and even in like markets that are rapidly changing.
yeah.
So my old neighborhood, my
Well, I
next
mean, like
door
mine,
neighbor,
mine is definitely off by 50, 60,000 for it's showing it lower, but the part of it is because of the builder. The builder is just throwing out these incentives and all that. So some of these houses are going lower than they actually are, but the resales. So that's what is getting confused with the new builds and the resales in my neighborhood right now.
right?
So it doesn't know the difference.
When I feel like once your home is like 5 years old or older, like you can't compare it with new construction homes.
Mhm.
Like that's hard.
Yeah.
Unless you are still in the same neighborhood, like it's a large neighborhood that hasn't really been completed, potentially because you get the same amenities and stuff like that. So it can
Like
be
mine,
close,
mine
but
is
5 years,
mine's 5 years old. Well, we've been here five. I think it's 6 years old, 6, 7 years old now. But we're still in a brand new, like they're still building in our community.
yeah, so that's hard.
It's one of
And
those
why wouldn't you go get a brand new house?
exactly. So that's who we're really competing with. Like if I put my house on the market, I'm not competing with a lot of the other houses for resale. I'm competing with a builder that's
Right.
offering all these crazy incentives.
Yeah,
Which I
which
mean,
is
we
going to
could,
drive your price down.
yeah, like I could do the same thing, but then I'm taking less on the back end with it all, kind of thing. But,
Yeah. And I think one of the biggest issues with Zillow too is it can't see condition, like the condition of the homes.
yeah,
Two homes on the same street can have a $50,000 difference on condition alone. Like, has the current owner maintained the home properly? Everything is in good shape, and Zillow just has the house as the same because it's the same house.
yeah, same house, looks the same. Like looks numbers are the same, so we're gonna go with it. And that's where people are gonna get in trouble with it. That's where they think their house is worth more what happens, or it could have they think their house is worth less because the one with the bad conditions, the one that sold. So now it's moved your house down to that one.
Right.
And so that's where you're like, oh, my house is not as worth as much as I thought it was. So,
Yeah. So, I mean, that's where realtors come in. Like if you're going by Zillow and you're going to list your house and do for sale by owner, you might be in for a rude awakening, and you might get offended by somebody coming in and making an offer because they don't look at your home as worth the same value that you do.
What I think is funny is like I see sellers go off of this estimate, and then buyers come in and go off of the taxable value. They're like, well, the taxes say it's only worth this. I'm like, that's
Yeah.
nowhere
Stop.
near it.
Yeah.
But I
My
get it
taxable
because
value, but my taxable value is also because I ported my homestead savings
exactly. So like you
from the
never know
previous house that
what
we had.
when I moved here to Florida, like when I was buying some like houses to flip, like I looked at taxable. I didn't know, but like I was looking at like, oh, it's only worth this much, and why they sold it for this? Like I had no clue. And then the realtor was like, yeah. So by the way, we have homestead here, and
Yeah,
it
yeah.
locks it in, so it doesn't really go up that much. And I was like, oh, gotcha. I'm like I didn't know.
Yeah. But that's, I mean, sad to say, if you have a home listed that has been listed for a while, like it's been on the market 60 days or more, you're probably overpriced.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
I mean, that's pretty much the simple answer. There might be some other things, um, depending on location, I guess, but there's a really good chance you are overpriced. And it's hard to come back from overpricing at first.
Because then it's what's wrong with it? Why is it sitting there for
Correct.
so long? Like it
Right.
might be just a price. You came in there, oh, I want to test the market. Okay, you testing the market is actually you're not putting your best foot forward. You're just,
Yeah.
oh, I want to see if I can get this much.
Well, and like
No,
I
this
have
is
a
what the market says. The market, there's numbers that show you like this is what the market says that you can get. If that's not what you want, and you don't have to sell, then don't sell.
well, I have a friend that's looking to buy a house near us, like in Central Florida. And they were asking me, like, Derek, what do you think about the value of the home? So I'm looking at it, it's got acreage. I'm like, I mean, it like this looks good or whatever. And then I went and saw like they had previously had it listed for $1.2 million, and now they're down to 935. And
How long has
it's
it been
just
on?
like a while,
Let's see,
like 90 something days.
I wonder
So, but
if
they've been doing price drops or whatever, but they had to start getting aggressive later. And like my mother-in-law sold her last house, and she started where she like was hoping for, and the realtor's like, okay, we can do that as long as you're willing to cut it like pretty quickly, like after week one, if we don't get any offers. They didn't get any offers, she dropped it by $50,000. And then
Mhm.
as soon as she did that, offer.
Yeah,
So she was testing the waters, but not trying to play games, if that makes sense. You know?
you put it out there and see, and then you got to have the plan of like you can't put it out there and wait. That's where people run into the issues. But you can put it out there and see what it's going to do, and then make an adjustment pretty quickly.
Yeah.
I
So
mean,
it just this is where like Zillow is great as far as like monitoring your home's value after you buy a house and stuff like that, getting an idea on what like homes in a certain neighborhood are worth. But this is where like buyers can get in trouble too, like thinking a house is overpriced because the Zestimate shows like a lower number, but it doesn't understand the upgrades that were done, location factors, market trends, all this stuff. So it might turn into a missed opportunity for a buyer because they're sitting there looking at the Zestimate and
yeah,
like, well, I don't want to overpay for this house. And yet the realtor's trying to tell them, listen, this is a good deal. Like this house is, priced accordingly, to, other comps and stuff like that. And then another buyer comes in, sees the value, goes under contract, no appraisal issues, and good to go. And that first buyer might have missed out on an opportunity.
I think. Well, like you said, it's not perfect. What actually determines that value, like you were saying, just you're hiring a professional for one. Like, okay, if you're going to list it by yourself and do it, like do the research. You're going to go buy a house by yourself, do the research, pull all the numbers. You can use Zillow and see what has sold and look at the pictures and see the different conditions. Like you can do that. And it just doesn't take into that account. So you can do your own research, but most people hire a professional. That's why you have realtors to do it because they're going to go look at the recent comps. They're going to look at the condition of the home. They're going to look at the location of the neighborhood, what's around it, the amenities, what's the buyer demand in that neighborhood. Um, One thing that you don't always see is I don't think it shows on Zillow at all. I'm not. is okay, if I sold my house for 900, but I gave $50,000 back to the buyer, does it just take in the fact that so I really sold at 850? But does it
I
does
mean,
it does it take that does it take sellers like when you do an appraisal, the appraiser looks at that. Like, hey, it sold for this, but there was this much concession back. So it technically hurts the value. It's not really what it was sold for. So like does
but it
it
was sold for 900
with 50 grand back
and it appraised at 900.
if the other part of the market, but then it makes
Would
it
the appraisal have been 900 if there was no seller credit?
they
Yes.
take it into an account. If you look at the appraisal, it'll show where they are taking that into account. So it's does Zillow take that into account? I just try to see
No, I would say that they don't take that into account.
now, like on the MLS, if the selling agent or the listing agent puts it incorrectly, I just wanted to see if this one just sold if it had anything on there. Doesn't say anything. Yeah, because I know on the MLS it'll say sold whatever, but it'll say the seller gave this much concession back, so you can see that.
Yeah, but you see that on the appraisal.
You see it on the appraisal, but like on the MLS, like they put it in there.
I don't know. I've never seen that listed on Zillow anywhere.
Yeah, I was just looking through all like the fine details to see if it was in here. Like just list this one that just sold, unless it maybe they didn't have anything. But
Well, and I remember my next door neighbor in my old neighborhood when the market was shifting a little bit. And like kind of during the COVID time, a lot of people were trying to move to Florida because Florida was pretty open. And I think his house originally would have sold around like, I don't know, 600 or something like that. And he listed his house for like 699. And I was just like, what? What are you doing? He's like, just seeing, we don't have to move. Like, not really even interested in moving, but given like what's happening right now, like kind of just want to see. And I'll be damned if he didn't sell the house at 699, which then created a whole new comp for our neighborhood.
yeah,
And like they opted for no appraisal. Like, and so I mean they closed at this higher price point. And
yeah.
then it shifted our neighborhood up and another home sold. And next thing you know, our neighborhood, the homes in it were worth more and they were appraising. There weren't issues. You know, again, we were in a cookie cutter neighborhood. So once you got a couple of houses selling at that higher price point,
It
I
moved.
mean, we ended up selling our house not that much longer after that, and it helped.
What is a house worth?
What a buyer's willing to pay.
And a seller's willing to let it go.
Correct.
Like that's all. That's what a house is worth. What a buyer's willing to pay and what a seller's willing to let it go. That is exactly what a house is worth. So, you know, Zillow, you got to use it the right way. You have to. It tells you it's an estimate. So it's a starting point. It's not the answer. It's for you to see what it could be. What
Yeah,
is the
get a
range?
general idea for the market. You can go in and look at different houses in different neighborhoods and see that this neighborhood is valuing around here versus a neighborhood down the street, which might, and it might simply be the other neighborhood is newer. And
Yeah.
so it's worth a little bit more. Similar homes, you know, some have pools, some don't. You know, it's a gated community, maybe. But sometimes it's just a different neighborhood, newer, and that might be the only difference.
I will
So
say they're great talking points, and I always used to teach agents this is like take a picture of your past client's house on Zillow
yeah, the Zillow page.
and look at the estimate and send it to them. Be like, hey, what do you think about this? Like,
Yeah.
what do you think it is? It's a conversation with your past client. Now you're having a conversation. That's all you need to do with your past clients. Have a conversation with it. You really want to get somebody stirred up and send it to a renter. Be like, do you believe that Zillow thinks the house you're renting is worth this much? You're like, oh no, this landlord's horrible. They don't take care of anything.
Yeah.
Yeah, like that really gets the conversation going. But it's a great tool to use
Zillow is helpful. Let's
if you
just say
use
that.
it if you use the tool what you're supposed to use it for.
Right, but use it like I mean, we just said it's helpful, but it's not gospel.
Yeah.
Yeah, so don't like take this if your Zestimate says your house is worth 450, that does not mean that you immediately list it for 450. Hire a professional, talk to a realtor. What other comps are being sold in the area? What are recent sales saying? You know, is my home worth this? Should we list for more? If the other thing too, if you're looking at a neighborhood and a house goes up for sale and it's under contract the next day, and another house goes for sale and it's under contract the next day, I mean
Pretty good
that's
starting
a
point.
sign that like maybe you increase your price
Yeah.
because they're going quick. So there's demand for your neighborhood.
Yeah, there's a every neighborhood has a turnover ratio, which is how many houses roughly sell in that neighborhood, how many houses are listed, per year, how many houses are listed in that neighborhood currently. And so it kind of gives you an estimate of how long is it going to take to get rid of that inventory if it was all priced correctly.
Right.
So you can see where that buyers demand. Agents all the time they're looking at farming neighborhoods. I'm like, you need a farming neighborhood that has a good turnover. Like people are going in and out of it because if you're farming a neighborhood that 5% of the neighborhood moves out of 100 houses, like, okay, that's 5 houses. Like, why are you spending so much money to try to list 5 houses that you're not going to get all of them?
Right.
It's like knowing that turnover ratio is huge. You should know your own neighborhood. How quickly do the houses go in and out of here? How do people move? If
Yeah.
there's 20 houses for sale and only 5 sell a year in here, well, that's 4 years worth of inventory right there, according to the numbers. Like,
Yeah.
that's what you have to look at.
So if you really want to know what your home is worth, talk to a professional.
Exactly.
Call a realtor, preferably the one that helped you buy the house.
Yep.
They should have been keeping tabs on the market of your home. Um, and they should be able to give you an idea of what your home is worth. They're not going to send you, I can assure you, if you ever have a realtor send you the Zillow link that they think this is what your home is worth, find a different realtor.
Yeah.
They can send you a comparative market analysis, so a CMA, where it has a list of recently sold homes that are within your, and it's not even zip code, within your neighborhood, within your like small circle, to help you determine what the value of your home really is.
I think people don't take advantage of that. I mean, it doesn't take an agent that much to do it. You should kind of figure out roughly once a year what your house is kind of worth, see where it's going. Doesn't mean you have to move. Just like, all right, let me see what it is, blah, 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 blah. I mean, agents should be reaching out to their past clients, talking to them about it. We do a mortgage review every year, just kind of looking over people's mortgage. Hey, is your insurance skyrocketed? Do the taxes make sense? Everything makes sense.
Right.
Is there a chance that maybe you could refi now? Or, hey, I need to pull out a HELOC to pull off to do whatever to pay off high credit. Like, I try to reach out to my past clients at least once a year to review that. And it
Right.
might be, you're good. Here's where you're at, kind of thing. The agent should be doing that with their past clients on their houses too. So,
That's
oh,
all I got.
no more
Zestimates.
estimates. The Zestimates.
Don't trust the Zestimate.
It says it right in the name. It is an estimate, just to kind of see where it is.
Yeah.
Well, this has been another episode of the Brutally Honest Loan Officer Podcast. Thanks for listening. See you guys next time.
See ya.